We have a quorum here, so we properly posted this. The board members are here. We are doing a workshop type of meeting so that there can be dialogue back and forth. Courtesy to one another is what's appreciated. No talking over other people, things like that. We can't go in the direction of individuals, personnel type. We protect our staff members, so we would have to stop you if you were naming a person, complaining about some person, something in that order. Understand what I'm trying to get at? We go by the golden rule, treat others like you want to be treated yourself. And so I think, Jennifer, if you would like to address us to begin with, that'd be great.
I will. So I am actually the one that requested this meeting take place. So for those of you who may not know me, my name is Jennifer Masick. I currently have a 5th and 7th grade students here at Merton. I have lived in the community since I was in 5th grade. I attended Merton from 5th through 8th grade. Since hearing of some of the favorite teachers departing this year, such as Mr. Warney, Mr. Klink, Ms. Kreuser, and Ms. Sputzine, to name a few, I worked on trying to get some reasons why. I personally have talked to more than 20 teachers, current and former, many of them sharing the same concerns as me. I will mention that many of these conversations that I've had were between 1 to 2 hours, taking the staff, current and former, away from their families. But their willingness to talk to me clearly showed the love and commitment to the Merton families, students, and staff. We are here tonight as passionate parents advocating for our children, our teachers, and our community. We appreciate the time you are taking tonight to listen to our concerns and address our questions about policies, practices, and procedures that we feel are necessary to maintain the excellent reputation and quality education that the Merton Community School District provides. All of the teachers at Merton are beloved by the community. The unusual amount of staff turnover this year, currently at 12, which is over 11% of the staff, is one of the driving reasons we are here. In the last 9 years, we have lost at least an additional 49 staff members, making the total over 60. And in interviews with Merton staff, I was told that we are at risk of losing even more great teachers due to the current environment. I have reached out to people at other school districts, and they are not seeing the same turnover. One of the Arrowhead feeder schools, only 2 people left in the last several years for lateral moves. Another one unfortunately lost 9 teachers this year. 1 was to retirement and 1 was due to low class size. Last year it was 3, 2 were to retirement and 1 for another job. 2 years ago, 1 teacher left and another 1 retired. The 3rd feeder school I taught to lost 5 teachers this year. 4 of them actually retired and 1 left education altogether. A Waukesha County school that teaches 4K through 4th grade lost 2 teachers, 1 due to retirement and the other 1 had passed away. An MPS school that teaches 4K to 5th grade, in the last 3 years, 1 has retired and 2 had been part-time between 2 schools and they got picked up full-time by the other school. An Elmbrook school that's 4K through 5th grade with 5 to 6 classes per grade, 1 moved to due to spouse's relocation and 2 retired. I have learned through my 20+ interviews with past and current staff members that there is a growing problem in the school culture at Merton. We are here tonight to address related concerns and hope that we can reverse the damage that has already been done. To quote the book Onward, Cultivating Emotional Resilience in Educators by Alina Aguilar, page 313. There is a great deal each of us can do individually to bolster our resilience and manage stress. There is a great deal that leaders can and must do to create conditions in which educators strive. Even the most resilient educators will not stay in a school or district that is toxic or dysfunctional. This quote is a great example of what is currently felt by many of the staff members, past and present, that I spoke to. For those that have left, they described to me in great lengths why they left, some before they even had jobs lined up. I also want to note that the questions and responses that I make tonight should not be viewed as an attack on any one person. They are all to help lead the way to make the Merton Community School District the outstanding school we all want and know it can be. We want our teachers to enjoy coming to work every day, the students to love coming to school, and the community to continue to grow even larger. There is a fear that if things don't get better, we will continue to lose more great teachers. We will risk losing current students to other schools, and those new to our community will choose to open enroll in other districts, as we all know how quickly negative word travels across a community. With that, I have a list of questions for district administration and the school board that have been compiled by myself and other concerned parents. We hope these questions will drive straight to the heart of the issue. And let me reiterate that we are here tonight with the best intentions. We are here to support positive change in our school district. We are here tonight to support the wonderful teachers, and most of all, We are here tonight for the kids. Let's keep them in the forefront of the minds in our discussions tonight.
Yeah, I would just, you have a wonderfully prepared list of questions here. And we probably have maybe an hour and a half or so to talk about things tonight. I'm sure we all don't want to be here till 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Maybe raise hands. 11 o'clock. All right, cool. So maybe we'll give it hour and a half or so and kind of see where we are there then. But because you have such a nice list of questions, I think we maybe should just open it up to the group as a whole to see if anyone has any questions or issues they want to talk about, because some people may be here for other reasons. This is general community forum. So if anybody else had anything to talk about or any other questions before we get into the list of questions, speak now. Yeah.
I know we have DPI requirements that this was released today. Are we hoping to go back to school full time, 5 days a week, unlike the DPI requirements or requests?
Go ahead. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. We are going to continue to collaborate with the other K-12 superintendents or districts across Waukesha County. Weekly, I'm in line with all 22 of them, as well as Health and Human Services, Ben Jones, as well as Paul Farrell's Waukesha County executive. So I will tell you, Beth, today what was released has been contrary to what we're preparing for. Okay, so I am preparing our school district to work with Waukesha County Health and Human Services at 100% reentry. That is where our direction is right now. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of parent choice that goes into that. There's a lot of things that we need to do as a system to get ready for that. Nothing that's insurmountable. But ultimately, we're a school district, and to achieve our mission, our vision, and our values, it's going to be very difficult for us to only have 10 kids in a class. It's almost fiscally impossible for us to have 12 kids on a school bus for us to do that. I mean, we just can't do that. So ultimately, what DPI told us is local control. Work with your local Waukesha County, or for us, it's Waukesha County. Work with your local school boards, your health department agencies to make that determination. So we are trying to do the best we can collaboratively as a Waukesha County to do what we feel is in the best interest of our educational system. So more to come on that. Obviously, that came out this morning. We had a superintendent call this morning or this afternoon at 2 o'clock on it. Believe me, it was all about questions about you gotta be kidding. Most of it was that. So to answer your question, we are looking at different avenues. But again, we will reveal a plan that people are going to have to decide what it is. We will have a virtual option. We will, for students and families who just are like, hey, I need that safety security for medical or for whatever reason. We will have an option for families. We are going to do the very best we can. Again, we are collaborating not only from a Waukesha County, but from a Arrowhead Feeder situation too as well. So to say things are going to be identical, probably not, but we sure hope to be running 100% capacity. That is everybody's goal, in my opinion. Now that was before, I was talking to Jennifer a little bit before this and said, boy, how does that DPI conversation jive with what you guys have been talking about from Waukesha County? It doesn't. We're preparing for something else. But there is a consistency saying, how can we together be aligned and be united underneath some core principles? And that's what we would really try to be in line with. Yep. Great question. More to come.
Is there any target timing for when, I know it's a little bit
Sure.
but throughout the summer, is there a target and deadline for when the protocols will be announced?
August 1st is what we're really shooting for. Today's June 22nd. So August 1st is really when we are targeting to say, this is what we really want things to look like. And that conversation being aligned with all the other schools is really, truly what we're shooting for, because today was a wrench, something that got thrown in. DPI did say they are going to continue to update that at a minimum every 2 weeks. So that can change, tomorrow, like we know the world does, quite quickly.
could you address open enrollment, because that was brought up in the state.
Sure, from an open enrollment standpoint of out. Sure, well, open enrollment, obviously, thank you everybody for coming, first of all. But we have been very blessed with very positive open enrollment numbers. This year, again, I'd have to double check and see what our current family situation is for those who have chosen to attend a possible different school. The last 2 to 3 years, we have been able to keep all of our district residents through an open enrollment. We've been able to attract families not only into the district resident-wise, but ultimately through some other avenues through open enrollment for them living outside the district as well. And I guess, Dean, too, I guess if there's no, I guess I would like to kind of address like teacher retention, the retention, just to kind of go back. And I was able to, if people wanted to kind of pass and we can share everything. But ultimately, what I've done is I've taken a look at, and this is a list of reasons. And this only encompasses administrators, teachers, and instructional staff. And we all know that just to kind of address the retention issue off the bat. Again, I counted approximately 60. Did I miss one? Maybe. Maybe I did. But for 60 individuals we've lost over the last 10 years, approximately. Now, some of the people on the list, I didn't know who they were. They left before me. And so just if you kind of say, post-Act 10 and or, when Ron arrived, we had approximately 60, very close to your number, but I did not include instructional assistants. I did not include instructional assistants, IAs, support staff. These would be professional, everybody's professional, but these people carry teaching licenses and or administrative licenses. And through that 60, you can tell, I don't need to read it to you, but this is when we take a look at reasons why people leave: retirement, family reasons, better opportunities. Now that better opportunity in 10 of them, 4 of them were business managers, 3 of them became principals, and others, onto a bigger program. Performance and or budget reduction, which was based on performance. Not in agreement with the district, did not like teaching assignment. Out of the 60 who left, 5 of them didn't like what we were doing, or like what the offer was the following year. 3 of them went from part-time to full-time. We had 1 reduction from a full-time to a part-time, and then 2 individuals left teaching. So I guess just you can see a percentage, and on the back of the sheet, we talk about teacher turnover. In particular, there's some CISA 1 information, which is basically Waukesha County, Milwaukee County, and things like that, for those who participated in that survey. I'm part of a Southeast Wisconsin personnel group. And this is what they reported over the last 5 years. And as you can see, yes, Merton lost 48 teachers in the last 9 to 10 years. And you can see why those teachers left. And our percentages is right around 7.6% in turnover. But over those 10 years, half of them were retirement, family reasons, or gaining a school administrative position. So we have done, again, from a statistical standpoint, we really feel that we do value teaching and learning. We value our teachers, we value our staff, but there's a lot of reasons why people leave. And just wanted to kind of highlight at a very high level why some individuals have decided to choose not to return to the Merton Community School District. So just wanted to kind of share that with there, because it was a big part about why we're here is about retention and about keeping people. And just wanted to, and I'm sure we'll get into later about how we do that, whether it be through monetary, professional development, and some other opportunities as well. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you had a question?
Why do you think your turnover is significantly higher here than in other districts for all of you?
I would argue it's not. This year, yes. Hi, we lost 10 teachers. Lost 10 teachers. 3 of them were for family reasons. We had a retirement, I'd have to take a look at my list, but we had family reasons, retirement. We had 1 individual who left for a bigger district, wanted to go for a program. We lost 2 people this year who were upset or who decided because they didn't like their teaching assignment or disagreed with the district. So 2 out of the 10 we lost because they were just unhappy with the direction and or where we placed them. And the reason why we had to move an individual who left, who didn't like their teaching assignment, it was a numbers thing. We didn't have the need at one school, so we needed to move the individual to another. Somebody had to go, and we chose that individual. So if you take a look at that, the last 10 years, or outside of this year, we lost 38 teachers over 9 years. That's only 4 a year. And for family reasons, we have a lot of family reasons in there too, retirement, but again, just for those set reasons there. So.
We have a question.
So these are all stated reasons by the party?
This is why, these are the reasons why people have left, correct,
So,
that they have told us, correct.
So anecdotally, I've left one job and I make you admit, and we have to have a reason for deciding to leave, whether or not you're deciding to leave for family, or deciding to leave, but there's something that usually happens to start that initiative to look for another opportunity, whatever that might be. I leave a job because I just don't like it there anymore. The reason I did is it's fun looking for better opportunity.
Fair enough. I mean, we have a lot, 16 people left for either left teaching or no longer teaching because they have expanded families and or it was a location concern.
Right.
So like I can teach in the school district of my children.
Right, but again, I mean, we'll never know. It depends on the catalyst that someone decides to get out of teaching or decides to get out of their current occupation.
Right.
I was told by staff members that a common thing that they hear is a teacher is a teacher is a teacher, and all should be able to go where they are needed and do what they are told. And if they don't like it, you can leave. Another teacher said, when I started at Merton, it seemed like most people wanted to work their entire career there. Now it seems most people want to leave. Do you think teachers being told that they are easily dispensable and therefore feeling that they are not appreciated at Merton may be the cause that some of them are leaving? And if teachers who have chosen to stay continue to work in the environment where they are made to feel dispensable and undervalued, won't that kind of negativity most surely spill into our children's education?
Oh, for
So
sure.
I have a question. We've got a lot of faces that I recognize as either current or past staff members. And I want to get a count of how many people either currently or used to work at them. Do you mind raising your hands for me, nice and high? I'm not going to walk. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. I'm not going to count that. 35. Okay. Now, a second count, and this one takes bravery, not just admitting that you work or used to work here. How many people, of those people that used to work here, believe that Merton has a toxic or dysfunctional environment?
I don't think that's fair to ask. It's not fair.
If we can't be honest,
No, it is not fair to ask.
You are putting people in a position
sure, I admit it would take bravery.
No, I don't think it's fair, and I don't think there's any right for you to ask that.
You're entitled to that feeling. What I'm trying to understand is you have a subset of data,
I do.
right? And we have a subset of data. And I don't know which data is correct. That's the problem that I have.
How did you come up with your data? Is it through
Do
surveys?
you have any idea how many interviews you did? I mean, I know you did at least one interview with every individual, you and Google, right?
Correct.
And I think there were multiple interviews with some people.
Yeah, some people, some grade levels. And then there was follow-up and follow-up surveys. I just want to make sure that we are having a constructive conversation that's going to lead us going the right direction, that we are not just hearing one side, but appreciating there are definitely different sides, and a lot of layers in between. And your research and information isn't getting a fair sampling and representation. And I'm not discrediting it in any way. I truly appreciate all the work that we've done and everybody speaking with you and being honest. But
I think the problem is if our staff can't be honest with us, then how can we get better?
because we've been doing this now for a few years and the conversation feels circular, and I don't want to, I want them to be positive and lasting and effective change.
I guess more than
I have a teacher. I do not feel any negative feelings at work. I've been in the district now 4 years, either myself as a parent, as a teacher. I've gone to the meetings, I've had administration meetings where I said, I don't like this, I don't like what you're doing this, I don't agree with this, and I never ever felt like I'm being judged or like I've got to go like a dog at the consumer store. I've never felt the negative feelings that I'm told that are around. I've never felt that. I come in, I love my job, I love this district, and I don't, all the teachers that I know of that left for family reasons, really didn't leave for family reasons, they're having babies, and it's awesome that they can see. I feel like we should be represented to those of us who are super happy and work here and have kids.
And that's kind of the point I was trying to make. I mean, I did it the wrong way, I guess, but.
Chris, how would you?
Thanks. I would say regardless of the sample, because data is shared on one side of the argument, Dr. Russ's data too, he's a thought maybe for both sample sets, whatever. There's a large contingent of the community here tonight that thinks there's a problem. People gather when there's a problem. So I would just ask that regardless of your beliefs, you hear what those concerns are and have constructive conversation, because on a Monday, beautiful night, we've got 70 people in the gymnasium. People gather when there's concern.
So I guess, do you want me to answer your question? I mean, do you want me to address some of the things in there? I mean, to talk about, first of all, you're right. A teacher, anybody who comes to work with an attitude, a poor attitude focused around whether it be compensation, morale, toxicity, or something's going on at home, they're obviously not going to perform their best. So what we've done is first of all, this past year, we spent basically the whole year studying social emotional learning, for instance, not only for the student side, but also for the adult side. And we spent significant time, and obviously you pulled the Onward book up in the initial quote, and that is going to be a main driver for us moving forward. On that SEL committee, we had over 20 people, which represents almost 20% of our staff, including 3 school board members and things like that. And we talked about all sorts of different issues. We really, really did. And we continue to try to address those, whether it be teacher voice. Trust is a big one. How do we gain the trust of our employees? Obviously, kind of to Chris's point, obviously people have some questions about what's happening. Hey, what's happening? Let's hear this. We want to continue to build that trust and be that school district where you really feel comfortable. But so what we've done is first of all, I don't know, a teacher is a teacher is a teacher, they're dispensable and things like that. I don't know how to respond to that comment, because we value our employees. We do. Up, down, all over, we certainly do. Do we understand that we also know that we want people to feel successful at their work? And to the 2 people, for instance, who this year felt that they could do work better in a different place, they chose to do so. And Brian, to your point, you're right. That's what they tell us, but we know that some people just choose to do their work other places. Doesn't mean they're bad people, wasn't the right fit. Obviously, we spend a lot of time developing our people, so we don't want them to leave. We don't. We truly, truly don't. So we do want to show our appreciation. We do want to professionally develop them. We want to take care of them compensation-wise, whether that be a very competitive salary with good benefits, 403B contributions, and hopefully a professional environment where they feel they can do their work. Small class sizes, supportive, instructionally supportive, professional development, all of those things go into us retaining teachers. We don't want people to leave. We spend so much time developing them. Truly, truly we do.
Yes. The Zoom meeting is having a hard time picking up the audio.
We couldn't have microphones passed around today. Sorry about that.
You said that the entire staff was at the social emotional learning. How many sessions is that?
No.
How many what?
How many sessions?
How many sessions? We spent each session, oh, I'd have to go back to the agendas. The whole staff, not much, the whole staff, we did some survey data of the whole staff, which was driven by that SEL team. There was a subset, and we were anticipating this being our implementation year of the SEL work. So this year, pre-COVID, we were anticipating this being the focus on our professional development for our staff.
So it was going to be implemented next year with staff.
In August.
Correct, this coming school year.
The team that was meeting this past school year was the one who selected curriculum, started putting it together to push out to staff. And then how many times, how many times throughout the year will the whole staff meet? I think that in every district we met once a month for the whole. And I know this last year we did have a whole, everybody in the school.
Correct, yeah. Probably November.
Maintenance on up, and whole district thing.
So we met on our Wednesdays and our early morning Wednesdays, and we had all the way from SEL time, just downtime, where staff learned a little bit, and then they decided to choose an activity, whether it be walking or we had some other activities going. I do believe March 6th, right around that time, we had a all-staff meeting where we talked about where we see resilience, where we see trust, and where trust is absent. So we started that conversation, and then March 12th happened.
And then you're talking about having people be on. At our school in Richmond, we had a company come in, outside company, who we were able to do surveys because we've had major culture and climate issues that we have improved by, but it takes a long time. So we had an outside company come and survey at the beginning of the year, end of the year. We were also able to write comments. Those were not given directly from our handwriting or our typing to it. Anyone in the building, it was an outside source where people could feel honest in their comments and could actually write what they feel instead of being interviewed by a school board member or an administrator.
We did that back in 2017 with the Journal Sentinel work. Yeah. But it's been 4 years since that, because that was part of our strategic plan.
You have to do it ongoing to look at data over a greater period of time. Then they can give you focus areas on what are your major problem areas and how should you work on improving those and coming up with a whole DLT or group in the school to come up with how are we going to improve these items that are scoring low. It was also given to the parents and given to the students as well.
You said earlier about when you interviewed, I guess, 2 summers ago, you interviewed all the staff members. I guess my biggest question is, what was the action plan out of that? Because I think we continue to revisit that there's issues. You have a lot of staff members here, and I know that I know they appreciated that time. But I guess what it comes down to is what's the action plan for improvement and what came out of that? Because I think the teachers who keep doing this, but and then nothing comes out of it. So I guess my biggest thing is, what's the action plan? Because that's really, I think, what people want to hear is, it's really like Chris said, there's a problem. What moves are being made towards solutions?
If I can address what she just said, because I wanted to ask this question to the board, and Julie, let me know if this helps.
I don't remember when we met with you, but we met with the board up in the learning lounge. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, because there's a huge problem with morale here and culture in our school. And like Ron alluded to earlier, we were just getting started on trust and honesty, and then COVID happened. So we were on the precipice of it again, and then it died. But a couple years ago, all the staff met with the board, and Ron, I don't believe you were at that meeting. So we wanted to address culture with you and the morale here. And so out of that meeting, the action plan, I believe, was to hire the administration coaches, life coaches or whatever. So here's what I'm thinking. In math class, we are required to give a pre-test and a post-test at every chapter. So I'm assuming that that meeting that we had based on, we're all unhappy, our morale is low, teachers are not appreciated, we're not valued, contrary to what's been said. And so the action plan was we'll hire a coach. So that was the pre. So it's been, I don't know if that meeting was a year or 2 years ago. Does anybody remember? 2 years ago. So that was 2 years ago. So that code, the district thought it would be of value to spend money, hire coaches for Mr. Russ, Mrs. Becca Stein, and Jay Poston. So my question is what is the post-test after that? You spent 2 years. So we knew where we were at the pre-test. Where is the post-test evaluation after your coaching that the district spent money on?
So, okay, let me.
So that was, I think that was, would you agree that was the action plan?
That was
Yeah.
that was a portion of it.
So we hired a coach.
That was only a portion.
And
Okay.
Can I jump in before you answer? Just for clarification, we hired a coach for the superintendent the first year, and then after that, we moved on to principal level.
Okay, my
So it
apologies.
wasn't all done at the same time.
Because we saw the value in the Living as a Leader program that we put on.
Right, but how do we know it improved? What is the post measure of that?
Well, we did get much better feedback after he had been through that program.
How was the feedback gathered? Can I ask?
How was the feedback after?
Yeah.
Back to
How?
And surveys sent out.
How were the surveys sent out?
Anonymous surveys sent out through workforce engagement. There was an SEL survey sent out for the August PD. So this is
Were they anonymous?
Yes.
They were 100% anonymous.
Yes. And again, everybody that I've met with, I've been very clear. I am not going to say something and put my name on something if that is not true. These were anonymous surveys.
I guess qualitatively, people came up to me unsolicited and said, wow, seeing a change. Quite a few people. And that was qualitative, and whether they did that because I'm the superintendent, I don't know, but it wasn't solicited. And ultimately, I was, I shared all the way from my DISC assessment and all those personality assessments, put it out all to the entire staff about what's good about Ron and what's bad about Ron. And it hit it right on the head. So those are things that we continue to work. We being myself and my coach. And again, kind of going back to what Katie said, I saw the power in it and from the feedback that I was receiving. And that's why I asked Mr. Posick to jump into it. Because everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a coach. And I know that's something that we'll probably get to a little later. Because there's a disagreement out there in our staff sometimes, like, does everybody need a coach? Some people will tell you no, they don't need a coach. Okay. That's just a different district philosophy than what those individuals have.
I just have to say, it's not enough. Are you special? How long? It's only. Survey may ask me, good or bad. I don't recall. And I didn't feel safe personally doing the data on them because I didn't know what was going on. I'm just going to say for myself. But so even when you say it's anonymous, if people, I'm just going to say for myself, I was unsure, so I didn't feel safe. And even when I do want to survey, you may want to say, well, great, well,
and that's fine, but that also like gauged level of comfort. You didn't have to answer that, but you could Still, not for the surveys I sent out. Under workforce engagement, that was not the case.
I didn't say anything about the meetings that I attended, I'm sorry, but I didn't see, I was hopeful and I didn't see, I think that's what we're saying, there wasn't a positive movement and not a positive start, but not necessarily positive end so far.
So then, please offer up what would have been a better solution to mobilize and have quick change for people that had really entrenched negative feelings. Like, what do you think is a reasonable timeline
Well, I
for
don't
things
know,
to change?
I just know I began so vulnerable to you and the
Yes.
groups I went to, and I absolutely, and I do not have a solution, so I'm here trying to be supportive of everybody, like, 'cause that's all we want, we all just want, things to be good, things to be better. And that's why I'm here, I actually don't have a solution, I'm just saying, for my personal, I did make myself vulnerable, and that I just don't see, so yeah, I don't know what time is it 2 years, is it 5 or 10? I don't know what this is.
And that's what's really challenging, to feel like there is a division now. We were ultimately working towards the same thing.
Well, that's why today's good, so hopefully it's.
We talked at some point about different actions that have been taken and whether or not they've been positive or negative. From the parents' perspective, the big change that happened with the teacher reshuffling. And I don't know what the teachers thought about that, but from the parents' perspective, taking teachers that are comfortable in their lesson plans, and their particular grade level, and then shifting them. Again, from a parent's perspective, that doesn't necessarily seem like the best thing. They need to be out there extra teachers that have a lot of years. I don't know if the teachers enjoy having something different, but if they don't, a lot of people are very much like what they do, and they want to continue to do that. Change is hard, change is slow. So saying, this year, band, you're going to do something else. So changes like that, that help for education and around.
Well, from a standpoint of like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or like even this year, when we move, people get moved around for a variety of reasons, whether we need to balance a team out, whether it's team dynamics, whether it's we need something, an influx of a talent there, or and some people request it. Some people request to be moved too as well. So some people get moved because of enrollment. So that's kind of it. There's a lot that goes into it. We're not throwing just dartboards and say first grade this year is so and so. When we move people, first of all, we let them know. We talk to them again. There's a lot of different variety of reasons why we move people, like other organizations do. And
you said you let them know. Is there a dialogue that they engage in to say, I would be willing to move to that, or are they instructed that?
It all depends. Some year, and this is where sometimes darned if you do, darned if you don't. In some years, we've said, hey, we got an open first grade. Who would like to go? And some people are like, hey, I'll go to first grade or fourth grade, whatever it is. And then in some years, we just come and say, hey, I need you to do this. We need you to move to here, whether it be enrollment or whatever it is. Those are all just kind of part of leadership at times. You sit down and you take a look at the talent that you have and where can we best allocate the talent for the kids. And yes, that does mean that sometimes we need to get out of our comfort zone and learn new things, which is not a bad thing. Because if we move someone, when we did a big move about 2-3 years ago, the whole point is we wanted more vertical alignment. So when third grade is scratching their head and saying, geez, what's going on in second grade or fourth grade? I got a second and fourth grade teacher there. So it was to try to do vertical alignment. So there's always a reason, and it's for the kids. It really, really is. And sometimes we make kid reasons instead of adult reasons. And that's our job, to assist in that, to do what's best for children.
And that large shift did not so well with staff. And that significantly affected morale. And that's what really drove the development of a workforce engagement committee.
Right, so make a decision for the benefit of the kids, with a different alignment, that's great, but if the staff doesn't work well with it, now that's hurting the kids.
That our job is to develop them. That is our job, and That's where we want people with an open mind, exhibiting our values and things like that. We certainly do. We work really, really hard to support that person and so that they can be the best educator they can be. Certainly. Yep. True. And we still hear about that. And that's been 3 years ago. We still hear about that shit.
And the board isn't involved in making
That's our
those decisions,
question here.
but we did recognize that the shift in morale was really negative. So then we had to step in to try to figure it out. And so just to kind of explain how those two are crossing, that there was a cause and effect, and we recognize that.
We knew it wouldn't be done.
When you move your teachers to different grade levels, do you pay for their recertification for that, or do you force that upon the teachers?
It all depends if they are certified in that area, then they're already certified. Look, in some cases, if we ask somebody, for instance, we had a teacher who moved from regular ed to special ed. We paid for that certification the district is asking. Now, I think you're probably referencing, I did have a conversation with a staff member, kind of an 18 months heads up, to say, the current role in which you're certified no longer exists. So I need you to get additional certification so we can continue to have your job here. That was, as an organizational, I made the decision to say, you know, he's got 18 months notice. It's not unreasonable, and I gave him all sorts of options, and there's options that he chose to do so. We do support people through their master's degrees and things like that. Yep. So, but from a certification standpoint, if the district is asking, we've asked people to get, and if they need to get that licensure, I mean, for instance, we asked some first grade teachers to move to 5K, and we pay for their licensure, that we pay for all that too as well. If it was a district request, if I'm picking you up and moving you into that position, per the request.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct.
You talk about retention and, you know, people sometimes leaving because they might get a better offer somewhere else or education wise. Do you have any data on how many staff you've kept here that they come to you and said, I'm thinking about leaving, and you were able to work something out with them?
When we take a look at it, it really comes down to the need. We offer high need stipends in certain areas. There's been a few individuals who have come to me and said, I've got another offer. And we know that in that position, it's very, very difficult, and let's be honest, it's very difficult to fill a very high need position. So then we stipend it to hopefully get them to where they feel comfortable, given some of the analytics that are behind where those salaries are.
But do you think you've been able to keep people by offering them and convincing them to stay at work?
Well, one for sure. I can point out one for sure that I know.
And just last year or what the last?
A year ago.
But otherwise, everyone else, once they made up their minds.
Never. One person has come to me and said, I got another job offer.
So
to make more money.
So when somebody comes to you and they're saying, I'm going to leave, I found I'm going to go do this, maybe I want to retire. It's not like we would love to keep you on for another year. We've already had some teachers leave. What can we do to keep you here? What can I do to convince you to stay?
So to answer your question, that's only happened once. One staff member, just once, and it was in an area that was a very high need where I know that on the market, it's going to be very, very difficult. So for instance, in that nurse, if that nurse is trained in something very specific and that person is the only person in the district who can do that job, then we've got a decision to make. We have a decision to make.
I want to add something to that too. I've had this conversation with Ron that we are proactive with high skilled individuals. I always tell him that I don't want somebody coming that they got a better offer somewhere else. We do compensate our skilled position.
When we say skilled position, there's in the education field, very similar to your career too, there's shortages in certain technical areas. And that's what we experience in schools, in the area of STEM, area of special education, some music. You know, it's all of you, some of you run businesses. There's supply, I don't want to call it supply and demand, but we had almost 100 people apply for first grade this year.
I guess I wish I had just seen more of a fight to keep some staff. some really good staff, you know, not only for parents, but for children and, you know, the change
Right.
that makes sort of coming.
And I understand.
We're fighting to try to, you know, sometimes the decisions are made, there's nothing you can do,
Yep.
right? They made up their mind, they're gonna go. But I think you probably missed a few opportunities where maybe you could have worked something out with them and figured something out to keep them, because now you gotta bring someone brand new in, and that's a big change.
But
for
even
everyone.
Correct,
those situations, you would have never heard about it, right? Because it's a personnel HR issue. So if someone does come around and say, hey, I've got another offer teaching at this other school, making more money, or whatever the case is, and maybe he made the best case in the world and the person stayed, the story never makes the headlines, right?
Well, that's why I asked, how many people have you kept here, right? How many people have, you know, are we fighting to keep some of these teachers and we just don't know about it? And that's kind of why I asked, or are we not really putting up a fight to keep some of the good staff here?
And it's a really good question. In some cases, the mind is made up, expanding
Right.
families, retirement. But the other piece to that, though, is there is this domino effect that if I do something for one, first of all, we're open record, right? Public record. I just can't do something for you and not for other people. I can, but then that just creates a whole nother culture issue.
But what are you really doing for someone that you couldn't do for someone
Correct.
else?
So then ultimately we try to do the other things that, you know, hopefully when I say work environment, small class size, relationship with principal, hopefully mission and vision of the district, support professionally. I can grow as an educator and get better. So hopefully there's some non-things that don't go in your wallet or don't go in your pocket that we can do to help with that. But ultimately we're going to try to fight for everybody, but we also want, and it goes back to Jennifer's question, kind of coming full circle, we know the impact of somebody who doesn't really want to be here.
But maybe that they want to be here,
Right.
they want to be heard on something too. So I guess I just think, as a parent, I'd like to see someone
Right.
fight to keep some of the
And I guess we try to keep open avenues of communication. As part of my coaching, it was, you know, after I gave up my personality and things like that, I offered to every staff member, individually, one-on-one, what do you want? I had less than 10 people take me up on that. But again, just trying to be open, honest, and for those of the people who have come in and said, Ron, what's going on? There's been no, and I know there's personal fear that goes into that, but trying to have that open and honest conversation, because there's certain things I can't promise anything except a really, hopefully a supportive professional environment where you can grow, learn, and want to come and work.
However, contrary to what most public people think, after Act 10, which left teachers available to get whatever job and leave wherever they want. Teachers don't want to leave. It's a ton of work. You can offer me $5,000 more. That's not work. You come to introduce to a new school, a new staff, a new community. It's difficult to find for teachers to leave. Very difficult. And when we have teachers that are leaving at this rate, that's difficult.
As a parent, the question that I see every year when I see this turnover, what is prompting teachers to go? Because I spent 20 years in Navy, and nobody's going to go look for a job if they're happy, if they're fairly compensated, and if they're treated with respect. I work with companies with high turnover, and guess what? The letters of resignation don't list the real reason why. You don't have a permanent. So I'm wondering what is prompting these teachers to look for
As a teacher, I look every year to see what openings and opportunities there are. It's a constant, I always look, because there's always an opportunity that might be different and grow me in.
But I think that's a bigger discussion than what we got here on how people have compensated, how they value themselves. There was a study in the USA, 500 teachers, 24% thought they would take care. 48% thought they would do the job in the last year. And 77% would be good again in the front. So it's a big question of how the U.S. is doing healthcare. I don't think it's necessarily a view right here. And Ron provided the numbers there. Madison has 8.3% of the teacher cost. So you want to compare it to actual numbers. There's some things there. I mean, first personally, we are here because of the school. My family comes because of the school. So I think, there's two sides here. And definitely, it's a bigger question for people. Are they taking care of them? We all want them to. No. But people want to write open checks. No. That's part of the educational system.
I actually do have some stats on what our teachers get paid. So when comparing the average teacher salaries in the Arrowhead School District, the majority of the Merton teachers are below this. The 2 to 3 years of experience, they get paid $1,783.71 less than the average. 3 to 5 years of experience, it's $3,023.29 less than the average. In Arrowhead School District.
That includes high school teachers who typically get paid at different rates.
These are the feeder schools. These are the 4K through 8th grade schools. The 5th through 10 years of experience, they get paid $1,082.59 over the average. The 10 to 15 years of experience, they get paid $3,491.67 less than the average. The 15
In that grade.
Yep. The 15 to 20 years of experience, they get paid $6,443.98 less than the average.
3,000.
It was 6,000.
From 10 to 15?
15 to 20.
15 to 20, I'm sorry, 15 to 20.
20 to 30, it's $4,012.15 less than the average. So the teachers that we have are getting paid, for the majority of them, less than the average in the 4K through 8th grade Arrowhead schools.
So I would like to address the
And I will also,
why that is.
can I finish, please?
Sure.
Not only do our Merton teachers work 195 days, which is the highest in the Arrowhead School District, but Merton is number 6 on the DPI report, which is fantastic and one of the reasons people come here. Yet the fact remains that Merton teachers are paid on average lower than the other Arrowhead schools in the district. And I don't know why. Shouldn't the district be trying to adjust this so that to commend the teachers on the great work that they're doing? Doesn't the district and board feel that increasing pay would be a good for teacher retention, make them feel appreciated, and encourage teachers to continue striving to do their very best?
I think the answer to those questions is yes. I personally would love if every teacher made more money, because I personally think that that is one of the most important occupations in our society. And I argue with lots of people about that, but that's my personal opinion. Because if we didn't have teachers, none of us would know how to do anything. Right? Like, we'd be hunters and gatherers, and that would be about it. But that's not, but that doesn't matter, right? The reason why our teachers' pay is what it is fundamentally because that's how much money we have. When Act 10 happened 11 years ago now, whatever it was, the amount of money that each school district receives was set based on the amount of money they spent the year before that, or something like that. Merton historically has been a very conservative district. And so, because of that, the limit of our revenue that we're allowed to even tax the taxpayers was set at a rate lower than the rest of the Arrowhead feeders.
Okay.
So we have less dollars per student. We have less dollars per student that we even have to spend. And as Ron mentioned earlier, we spend 65, 70% of our
65.
total revenue goes to salary and benefits of our employees.
Okay, because now I'm gonna say the superintendent currently ranks as the second highest paid in the Arrowhead School District, and is the highest in paid and benefits. He gets $22,879 more than the average.
Yep.
So,
And so administration, the principals and superintendents, their compensation is, the lever on their compensation rate is based on the size of the district. Right? So Merton is the second largest school in the Arrowhead feeder system, right? Harlan Lakeside is bigger than we are. And the rest of the schools are quite a bit small. Right? You know, North Lake is tiny. You know, Richmond as well, right? It's not a giant school. And so the level of responsibility that comes with managing a bigger district, more people, more dollars, you know, both from a business manager, principal, superintendent, you know, all of those roles, that's the lever that adjusts, you know, that pay rate. So when you're looking at the average of those schools, it's a little bit misleading of, you know, who's fairly compensated and who's not, or who's appropriately compensated, I guess, maybe a better way of saying that.
Teacher side,
For the, when your numbers for the differences between the Arrowhead feeder schools and our teachers were paid, some of those differences are not knowing the level of education. Teachers without master's degrees typically get paid less. And if we have a group of teachers here in an age group that decided not to do that at that point, they're not going to be as highly compensated as those in the same year span that did go out and get their master's.
Do teachers get benefits here? Pay increase, like they did prior to Act 10 for a master's degree?
Yeah, we give $6,000.
A stipend or their salary increase?
$6,000 stipend that is continual per hand.
Because that's not the case in all of your, so.
Right.
This is your Richmond School District.
We don't get,
What?
we don't receive anything for our master's.
You know, maybe.
I did. And we do not do.
So that's a retention position, which we really wanted to.
But my salary is still higher than the average salary, the same amount of experience that I have.
It all depends. Again, there's a couple things. We can just kind of go step by step here. These 0 to 5 individuals, we addressed that. We tried to address that through negotiations this year, and we have bumped up our 0 to 5 year teachers. They have been bumped up, so we've taken care of that. Obviously, as we take a look at the other areas, we continue to take a look at that. But kind of to what Jennifer was saying, you know, our 20 to 30 year bucket, for instance, we have 18 teachers. 18, this is all 18, 19, 18 teachers. 7 of them don't have master's degrees. So which means they're making right around in the mid-50s, mid to low 50s. So when you take a look at our average, that pulls down 7 out of 18 will pull your number down if you're taking a look at our average salary from a 21, 22 year vet is right around 75,000, which is competitive in the local market. We've got, well, and you guys got this, and I sent it out from a parent email back in, oh, you've gotten all of our negotiation stuff. You've got the scattergrams, and you've got the list of where all of our teachers sit in comparison to other Waukesha County schools. So we saw a need, and you're right, because all the information, well, you got the information from what we gave you and things like that. There's some areas, because if you're more than 30 years of experience, you have 100, you're making 4% more. If you have 30 plus years, you're making 4% more than the average K-8 feeder. If you have 30% more, you're right. There's parts that are greater, and in every compensation system, there's some that are below, some that are higher, and we're really trying to maintain a very competitive wage, and not only with wages, but we have a 403B program. We give every teacher $500, and we will match up to $250. That's a program that doesn't occur in a lot of other school districts that I know of. We give master's degree stipends. We give high needs stipends. So we really try to, from a standpoint of it, and this is where this data does not reflect any stipends. This is contract stuff that we issue to DPI. So if somebody got their master's degree, that's not listed.
So you said you were addressing the 0 to 5 year range. And
We did.
And you did.
We did.
What happens to the 5 and up now, or the 6 and up? How are you compensating them? Because you said you reached negotiation for less than?
We have not reached negotiation. We just, for the 0 to 5 folks, we felt there was 9 individuals who were identified as undercompensated, where they could walk over to Richmond and make $3,000 to $4,000 more. So we bumped them up. We know, so then that basically covers our 0 to 10 teachers. And then the other data that we have, when you take a look at our scattergrams about where people are, whether it's a choice they didn't get their master's degree or whatever it might be, we'll continue to look at that. And it's probably part of a larger compensation system that maybe we want to start looking at a different system instead of CPI, or instead of just something that's very traditional, to a different system that might be more rewarding for whatever it is the district might have.
Personally, I would rather have the experience that those teachers have than necessarily sending them for a master's degree. Because not only do they have the experience here, they already have the relationships with the community and the families, and they should have proven themselves that they can do just as good of a job as somebody that has a master's degree.
Right, because there's no educational research that says better outcome for master's degree. There isn't.
Correct, but you're saying that they're paid differently because of that stipend.
No, because they're paid differently, because if you have a 15 to 30 year vet, okay, there was a salary system called steps and lanes, single salary system, steps and lanes, where a teacher could say, I came in here, if I get education, if I get my master's degree and continue to get credits, I can make X amount of money. Some people chose to do that, some people chose not to at that time. And when Act 10 came in, we were cut whatever percentage, and we had to freeze steps and lanes. This is all, just common knowledge that we had to freeze salaries, that there wasn't the traditional 3 to 5% just for a step. And now it was basically based on some CPI stuff, because we couldn't afford steps and lanes anymore. We couldn't afford that. So compensation is a big conversation, and every situation is very unique. And it's almost a personal conversation, a personal choice, because the people who don't have master's degrees, they have the opportunity to do so. For the district to support that at 6 credits per year at $200 a credit, where if you do the math, the return on investment is right around 2 years. And after that, you continue with that $6,000 stipend. And that's really where we want a lot of our people going, because it is a possibility of additional compensation.
I'm going to go off the topic of data and pay. That's kind of an extrinsic factor, right? Those are things that help motivate people to pay, those things. Intrinsically, though, what are some of the motivators of the teachers, and how is that going to the assessment?
Sure, from an intrinsic side, we try. What are the intrinsic motivations of a teacher? Why would they want to stay outside of the monetary stuff? What do we do intrinsically? Well, hopefully, one of the reasons why we're doing it is the appreciation. And I know, Ron, you're not showing the love. We're not showing appreciation. We really try, and obviously, everybody knows the staff here knows my personality, and I'm not full of woo or whatever. That's not how I'm built. That's just not how I'm built. So what do? Class size, intrinsic class size. For you to go, we have one of the smallest class sizes around. We really, really do. So if you were to take another position elsewhere, to Rachel's point, you may get another $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, but you've got 28 kids in your first grade class compared to 18. We try to create opportunities we're a smaller district where we can make change happen if we see something occurring. We try to input teacher voice, and I know we can, with our staff, we kind of go back and forth with that. Our curriculum committees, our hiring committees, decisions are made collaboratively when we need to make collaborative decisions. I truly believe that there is a tremendous amount of teacher voice. Again, we go back and forth. Some people would say, Ron, we don't have a lot of teacher voice. Okay, we can continue to work on that. And we were working on that pre-COVID, starting to go down that road. So from an intrinsic, we want them to have a small community. We want them to really enjoy their coworkers. There's only 4 of them typically on a team, a strong team environment. Hopefully they see instructionally supported through instructional specialists or their colleagues or their principal. Really try to just create an environment, families, great families to work with. You know, but we feel we have a lot to offer for a professional to continue to grow, live and work here in the Merton Community School District, truly.
How much prep time do your interviews for people have during school day?
Next year will be 60 minutes, a little bit more than 60
During
minutes.
school day or before?
No, before the school day, it's right around, kids come in at 8:40. So they have contractually 25 minutes before, 15 minutes after, and then approximately an hour.
Does that include their lunch?
No, does not include their lunch. 35-minute duty-free lunch at the intermediate school. At least that's what it was last year. 35 minutes, and then the hour of prep. And then 25 before and 15 after. And we do have
An
them
hour period? Like, does your periods are-
a chunk. They will have a chunk of time. I shouldn't say that. Sometimes it's 45. You know, it could be then another 45. It could be 90 one day, 45 a different day. Again, it kind of ebbs and flows next year. But from a primary school.
I can speak to your motivation. Something that we have at the elementary school have is family involvement. The students that we have here come to school ready to learn every day, and that's something that all districts have. So, like for example, my roommate is also a teacher. She teaches in MCS, and she's compensated higher than I am, but her needs are very drastic than what I have to deal with here in Merton every day. And so that is something that's intrinsically keeps me here personally. It's the family involvement and the students that I work with. So there's other things at play than just what the district provides to us, and includes the community we live in, where we're very fortunate to have what we have here, and that is something that keeps us here as well. Going to other places is not here as easy as we have here, in my opinion.
I have an exact point where I saw here. We're here for solutions, and we're here for the good of the children. But coming in here, and this might be a popular thing to say, but I don't think that's one that we buy from before. I mean, I get standoffish on the defense, and we're here for the kids, and we need to find solutions. And I just get this, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like
I'd like to say something. We're here to listen. We're here to take, I've been taking notes, and we want to help and make a difference. So just because we're sitting here listening and not giving the one
we're not back more than so to see. I think it's no mind to the research and the thought and the time and everything that's gone into holding this meeting.
And I think, you know, the teachers that are here today speak volumes and they're. I mean, they have families, they have other things that they could be doing, and they're all here.
And I think as a board, we do respect that, and we are taking it very seriously, and we want to make a change, and that's what we are. We're here, we have a special meeting for you guys. We want to know. We're very open to learning.
So after hearing some of this, do you have any ideas of what you could possibly do?
Well, personally, I don't know everybody. I'm new here in the district. We just moved here 2 years ago. And I honestly just want to learn from you guys. I want to know what the issues are, and then maybe compare what we can do and see from there. And see, I think today for me is a learning experience to learn from you, and then to go from next steps and working with the teachers.
And a lot of this, the stuff that started post-strategic plan and all the committees that were formed and the interviews that were done with the staff, that was moving towards the SEL committee, which had been meeting with staff members and board members, and now narrowing down all the high-level themes, because all those interviews that I had and Joel Geisler had with staff were confidential. So we were only discussing high-level themes, because that was what we were told by the staff they only felt comfortable, and that's fine. That's their truth, and we are trying to honor that. But it then slows the process a bit, but that's okay too, because I don't want there to be knee-jerk responses and solutions that aren't going to be lasting. So then the smaller SEL committee, which was comprised of a staff member from every grade level, principals, Ron, 3 board members, specialists, support staff. We were meeting every other month, if not monthly, for full day meetings to develop a social emotional learning curriculum for students and for staff. And that learning and those meetings stopped, but we were making a lot of progress. And that's where some of the tensions were also being flushed out, that it wasn't just tensions with administration and staff, that there was some staff tension that really needed to be addressed for there to be a holistic solution. And I guess that's where my frustration is coming in, because there's been so much work that's unseen, and that's fine. I don't, like, nobody's looking for a pat on the back. That's not what this is about. But I just don't want, like, looking at all the faces and how just negative and frustrated everybody looks. I don't think the picture is that bad and that bleak, and that there's not potential. And so I'm really concerned that people are going to walk away from this whole place, and that the absolute last thing that I want.
I guess I've just been answering questions.
Okay, this question.
I don't think people are going to walk away from it hopeless. I think it's obvious a lot of the work that's been done. I think there's been a lot of concerns shared from one side of the room. There's been some defense. I would be defensive. I mean, it's personal, right? It's big thing. But come away from it with how do we come away from tonight with, if we started the school today and we're sitting where we're at today, I think everybody can agree we can do better at staff retention. We can always do better. 7%, 5%, 3.5%. We can pay somebody $200 more, or we can move them. We talked about a lot of things, right? A lot of things, and this is a very complex, multi-faceted situation. It's difficult, and the COVID things made it more difficult, and I think everybody can understand that. Coming away from today, how do you guys listen to this? How do you process what's been done, all the hard work that's been done? Some of that just needs to be brought out and communicated maybe. But how do we come away from today with a little bit of a communication stream or an ongoing ability to continue to communicate and do that work? I can sense from the frustration that that's a good thing. That means you care, and there's a lot of things that have been done. Is it all working? Maybe not, probably not. Is some of it working? Absolutely. Could some of it work better? Hopefully. So, I guess my thought is move away from the back and forth, and how do we move this meeting more toward coming to another meeting in the future, or some communication coming out on what's a plan just to get better, just to do a little bit better.
Also, can we go back to maybe the teachers and ask them, an anonymous survey, 100% anonymous, where they can be upfront, bold, and honest to say, and have the ability on a blank piece of paper to turn it into like a spot where it's not camera and nobody knows who it is, but so you can have their honest feedback. That's a starting point.
How do we do a survey that staff believes is enough?
Have somebody from outside of the board.
Hey, this is his question. I have a question. Hello? Anybody?
Staff member that you to put their surveys into an envelope that sealed shut, mailed it to the one person that was going to stored it, he brought it back, and then share it with us. That's part of it. A lot of the surveys that we have where we never see the results. The board doesn't see all the results of the comments either oftentimes, and they just see the story. So we've had multiple different options and ways to do it, because trust on a survey that you're using your school email from. I can tell my kids that if
but if I don't click the thing where I'm not clicking emails, the email comes through to people who the server came from. You don't see that. It just, it's a difficult thing to get people who don't have trust to have trust in a computerized survey that is going to someone.
Well, that's the problem, right? If the staff doesn't trust us to tell us the truth, then how can we make them trust us to tell us? That's the part I struggle
You
with.
give them other opportunities to do something with the data. You show an action plan and you develop that they see the follow through. We can't see you have to trust us if you work here. That doesn't work.
Right. Talk a lot about trust, which I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you studied internally, the 5 assumptions of the team, with the bottom of the pyramid is fundamentally trust. Right? You can't have a healthy functioning team without trust. That's the foundation for trust, conflict, commitment, and accountability results, right? So everybody's trying to build it. The problem is always between staff and management having that level of trust. So it's as basically management, your responsibility to foster that trust with your staff. Obviously, that's a difficult thing to do. It's always difficult for staff to trust their management, especially on surveys and things like that. What might be beneficial, just a suggestion, is a group that represents the staff rather than a survey coming from management, where if we don't have that level of trust, I can't trust a survey coming from my management to be anonymous or to allow me to express myself the way I want. Maybe a community committee or something like that that's more acting on behalf of staff, not their management, would be helpful. Some sort of insulating layer.
And we can certainly look into that. Other school districts do it. We tried to, our SEL team was really facilitating a lot of these conversations. But I think, Brian, too, it also comes down to not just trust with administration, trust with each other. I mean, we have teams that need to continue to build trust and all those other things, because that's the work environment. I mean, most people shouldn't leave because of what the superintendent does. Right? I mean, because I am a layer, I'm beyond layer. I mean, I'm a huge, I like to think I'm a huge part, but ultimately it happens day to day. What is your day-to-day interaction with your peers, with your principal, with your parents? That's really the intrinsic stuff we talk about, is how do you want to come to work for each other? And we do spend a lot of time trying to team build, and through exit interviews, sometimes it's a tough thing. It really, really is.
Yeah. You know, and just hearing what goes on in the community, because that I think we haven't talked much about that. It's been more staff versus management. I think the teachers you could apply this, that we need to make sure that we have cohesion with our peers as well. Right? You don't always leave because of your management. You leave because of that dirt you have to work with, right? Peers you have to work with. I'm sure that that's part of it as well, and that's sort of an aspect we have.
Go ahead, you've been waiting.
I don't have so I mean, I think trust is, and I completely agree with trust is that foundation. Trust from your colleagues, trust with your administration and your leadership, trust with the board, and also trust with the community. And I think I don't have a lot of the background in the last few years, the things that maybe unfolded, and I just wasn't the first. I don't have that into this. Coming into this year, I have got nothing but trust from administration and from leadership and from the board and from the community. I think the lack of trust that I have felt, and it's not a huge lack, but there's a little bit of lack of trust that I have felt is from colleagues. And I think there has been a lot of breakdown of that in the past. I think it's still rebuilding. And I just think it takes time. It sounds like, from what I understand, this stuff has been in place for the last couple of years. Has really been time to fix that and try to mend and create that trust again. And I think that that's important. And seeing that there was this breaking at some point, and things are being done. And things are being done to try and make that again. Keep value to it. I think that really is teaching for how we. And I think these are all valid questions. I think these are all important questions. And I think it's great that there was such a huge turnout from the community to acknowledge the fact that we are all in this together, we are all in the community, and no matter if you're, being that there isn't the pressure that there is, or you have that divide, you're still all here together. And I think that that's what we're all working for. And I just want to give that perspective.
to say what, in my opinion, was a great employee who thinks going full time, I really paid well for as the concept of the state interview, exit interview, right? You're already and so, yeah, there's a possible solution maybe do this already. You know, you're kind of and, you know, why did you say? You just told us that, right? So, I think that's totally good. Everybody's going to have to do it. And so, kind of figuring out what makes each person different, I think that's
right, and it's hard to do that anonymous. Right, it really is. Because
that has to be, yeah.
Because if, first of all, even asking how many years of experience do you have? Because we know, and that was going back in the Journal Sentinel back in 2017. We know that if you've been here 15 plus years, you feel very differently about the organization compared to whether you were hired before, you know, or even 10. So we know that cultural divide, that experience divide exists. It's clear, and that's what we're talking about. Is how do you continue to work together, develop trust, knowing that you have a group of people in your organization who feel this way. And we do, I have to say, we can hopefully through those interviews and through some of the other surveys, because obviously we can continue to collect that information, because it's super important, because after they're gone, you know, kind of to Sarah's point, they're gone. Did you have a chance to save them, listen to their concerns? And some of their concerns, we're all, at some point, we're going to agree to disagree, right? There's always that. It's just, hey, I hear you. I really do. We want you part of the organization. We want you to buy into what we're selling. We want you to buy into the organization.
Well, like compensation is one part of it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're really just the compensation, it's probably very good. We know that's something great.
Right. Because we want people to feel good about the work they're doing. Because compensation is one piece, and I know compensation is already divided. The people, you know, to say, and to Jennifer's point, when I said we've already addressed the gap in the 0 to 5 teachers. That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It did. It was a difficult decision. Taking a look at information, taking a look at data, to say this was a decision that we wanted to make and we wanted to present. That was just an executive decision that the school board made.
Yeah, let gentleman over there.
The other thing that I think future population, we can create that mechanism because you all are working very hard to provide value to the community, and we want them to value as well. So we'll figure out a way to
Thank you. I just want to say I've been here for 15 years. I love Merton. I bleed blue. I battle 94 traffic every day. I live in Berlin, 30 miles here, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes back. I love it here. I'm here. I don't care about the commute, any other stuff. I'm here because I love it. Okay? You talked about the divide that's happening because of the raises you gave those 9 individuals. I'm going to tell you a story. Okay? Virtual learning, there was a Sunday family wanting to come to Merton. Mom was a little panicky, wanted to talk to the 5th grade team. Of course we'll talk to them. I spent an hour with this mom, answered all of her questions. We basically recruited her and her daughter, her 2 daughters, right? This is because we believe in Merton. Yes, come here. Absolutely, we'll take care of your daughter. I go to check my email after that, and that is an email that says 9 individuals are getting raises and nobody else is. Yes, I know negotiations, I know, okay? So that moment, I will never forget because I started crying because I felt no value. We're 9 individuals, we're valued, and I felt I wasn't. Now, the reasons behind it are yours, and I understand that. I know it's not final yet, but in that moment, I broke down. It was just so hard. That message that came to my brain was, you are not valued enough to get a raise. We're 900 individuals back. And I know you're trying to build up the 0 to 5, I get all that, I do. But you have to realize that, you know, everyone who's been here, blood, sweat, and tears with you, bleeding through with you, that message you sent to us was devastating.
Okay, Merton, I understand, I understand.
Up there.
There's a lot of uncertainty with the coming school year. Right now, are all positions filled and are they all contract?
Yeah, not all positions are not filled yet. The only position tomorrow we're hiring for part-time art. Middle of July, we'll hire for the district administrative assistant, and in middle of July, we'll also hire for the business manager. But all the other individuals are contract sealed, you know, they return them, and they're going to be back, as far as I know. I really, really do. But there is a lot of uncertainty in our budget. There really, really is. And we're not done with negotiations yet. Hopefully, we're going to continue because we did.
And really, the only reason that we put a hold on everyone other than those 9 that we were talking about was because, as everyone knows, the state doesn't have any money. Right? COVID shut everything down, and there's no tax revenue, and so now, you know, the state has this budget for. So we don't know what's going to happen to our budget. So it didn't feel responsible or fair of us to promise a raise that we weren't going to be able to pay.
But you chose people to give a raise to who you value. You chose them that they got a raise because you value those individuals. That's the message that's coming to us.
The increase was not value-based. These people were significantly undercompensated relative to the other feeder schools.
Why were they significantly underpaid?
Because that's what the salary schedule was that they got hired on. And so
And
we eliminated the bottom of that salary, because we still have the old steps in lane, right? There's still that frozen in time picture. We eliminated the bottom 2 rows, or the top paid 2 rows. 3? Okay. So, because we felt that the lowest paid teacher earned should not be at whatever the number was. We felt it needed to be higher than that. And so we eliminated those rows altogether, and now the lowest paid teacher is the 3rd row off, whatever that is.
And we all agree with that. We want them to get paid too. They're our colleagues. We want them to make more money. That's not what this is about. It's a message that is sent to us.
The way it was communicated could have been better.
But there's, could be, I understand that.
To be honest,
It came from our district secretary.
To be honest, I think the way that we communicate in general would almost across the board be better on everything. I mean, you can always be better, right? But when I look at what a lot of the issues are, or whatever, even, you know, kind of glancing through some of the questions on the list, like some of this stuff has been communicated at one point in time or another through some, you know, family email or whatever, but it wasn't highlighted in the right way or wasn't presented properly and got misinterpreted. And so we certainly have some growth to do on how we do it.
I can certainly, and I understand, I can certainly share that letter that was written on behalf of the entire administrative team. It wasn't, these 9 are getting it and none of you get it because we don't value it. It was not that. It certainly wasn't. And again, we're not going to be defensive because there's a little bit more to that.
So you can make a difference between market adjustment announcements and merit-based.
We do not have a merit-based system.
What?
We do not have a merit-based system.
We don't have a merit-based system. So that means everybody that gets a compensation adjustment
Because of their.
Everything is market adjustment.
Nope. It is. How do you answer that? We're not in a performance-based system. We're not. So basically, the offer that was given to the union was a 2% total package, 2% increase to salaries, and there was some other market adjustments given to the 0 to 5 folks, where everybody else was issued a base wage increase of either $500, $1,000, or $1,500. So it was a 2% over CPI. CPI is right around 1.6. We offered 2%. But yes, we did put more money on a market-based system to bring up those individuals. It was. And we tried to negotiate, and we failed to reach an agreement.
just want to let the board know, apparently there are multiple people on Zoom trying to ask questions, and no one.
It's, yeah, questions are kind of coming from person face to face. Yeah.
So are we not hiring rehiring all the people who left?
No, we are. We are. We've replaced, we've hired 3 first-grade teachers. I know one of the questions, where is the experience? One of them has 3 years of first-grade experience. One has 3 years of first-grade experience, 4 years of first-grade experience, 7 years of first-grade experience. We hired a new 7th-grade social studies and science teacher with 9 years of experience. We hired a special educator at 10 years of experience, and we hired a choir director with 21 years of experience.
So they're all being filled.
They're all filled. Yep, they're all filled. Correct. Yep. They're all filled. And tomorrow we'll hopefully fill quite.
Somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Or Art.
Okay, so my understanding is that it's needed 22 years to keep the grade 9 and more. So that continuously, the current situation at the community school, I know versus no mistrust between staff members at all. These are very sound, trust each other, love each other, high level of trust with our principal over here. Unfortunately, I think some rapid flag between staff and staff. The last survey we took about that, we were asked about staff to staff conflict a lot more than we were asked about trust issues with other people, with administration, with the board, with superintendents. So those did not come up. We do have a high level of trust, and I think the other intermediate speakers would stand by that.
And that survey she's talking about was from the SEL team, based around the Aguilar book of Onward. Again, all the way from positive interactions to negative interactions with your supervisor, with your colleagues. So that gave us, that was a baseline for what we wanted to do to improve.
Yeah, I just want to go back to what this gentleman here said. I think clearly there's something going on. This is the first meeting that I think that I just what is more of the administrative plan to incorporate an ongoing rhythm in a very trustworthy way where you can get feedback from your teachers, as well as what I would argue from the community as a whole, and make that your metric. Like, people leaving shouldn't be a metric to strive for to what we talk about. You should have a cultural pulse that you have on a regular basis. That should be the metric we're striving for. So I guess as an action item walking out of here, how do we incorporate something like that, or put together a tiger team to start incorporating something like that? That's something I would love to see, because clearly everything is kind of anecdotal. You ask one person, they're going to love it. Next person, they're going to hate it. We got to get some sort of finger on the pulse. And I work in the corporate world. That's the best way to do it. Is you can get a very, very good metric that you must strive for to get it in a fair way. Completely agree. There's a million tools out there that you can use that are completely trustworthy. So I would love to see that as a community member. I'm not a teacher here, but clearly just reading the room, there's things that need to be said, and we need to give them that mechanism to say it as well. So I would think that would be a good action.
I'd like to add too.
Yeah.
Was it February? We started to do the forum before our board meeting. Anybody can come in and address the board. I run a very tight meeting during our board meeting. Those board meetings are for us to conduct the business of the school. So I don't allow interaction back and forth between the audience, if there is any audience, and the board. We don't get our work done until we have the conversation. So we initiated this opportunity for people to come in and discuss with us. Absolutely.
But I'm not, there's technology ways to do that, where you don't have to have people interrupt their lives to come to a board meeting, and then maybe get a chance to talk. So
we would accept.
I think there's a lot of ways you can get that information without having people physically come somewhere, as well as from teachers. So I'm happy to help. identify some technology for you guys.
There's some easy stuff, but community
Very,
engagement stuff.
there's a lot of great things out there. Very easy.
We are more than willing to talk with our community and our staff. And we, all of our email addresses, telephone numbers are published.
I think you're missing the point.
But
I don't want to talk to you. I want there to be an open forum like this in a virtual way so people, we have a method that we can see if we're getting better or if we're getting worse. I have a sense in the room that we're getting worse. I hear us say we're doing better. And so we need to all be driving on the same method so we can all agree with it. It's not about your availability. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. It's not an easy position. And there's really easy ways to do this, and you just got to put together the plan to do it.
And consistently.
Yeah, we can make the financial commitment for a survey company if that's something the board is willing to do. I mean, we certainly can't commit. It's easy to do. There's typically a cost to it, and if that's a priority of the district, then we'll certainly do it.
Is there a strategic goal around community and engagement? Because I heard tonight the word open meeting a lot. Those aren't strategies. Those are, I think things happen. We're going to keep opening. So if there's not a strategic goal around employee engagement, meaning all employees from custodial staff, food service, superintendent, and if there's not employee community engagement, to your point, the gentleman over here, and then there's constant progress monitoring of that goal, the strategic action in between, we're going to keep coming back to opening when things change. And so many school districts work on their employee and community engagement to understand the sense of what the community wants and needs, aligns their resources to that, and then make sure that they're developing their people to get to those outcomes. So I heard strategic plan off, and I haven't looked at ours, and I probably should have coming into this because that's what should drive the work, not reacting to the community. It should be responsive to the needs.
To briefly answer your question, yes.
Then it should be transparent. We should see the progress of that. That should be the report.
Correct. Yeah, the strategic, vision committee thing was 5 groups. One of them was workforce engagement development. One of them was community. One was like facility finance. And so, curriculum was one of them. And so we established, what our ideals are, what we want to accomplish, and that then drove what the goals were for the next 2-3 years or whatever. I don't remember what the timeline was that we did. And then, that ultimately drives down to how we're following up on all that stuff. We certainly could do better at following up on all of those individual tasks. That's certainly true. Obviously, there's always a improvement on everything, but I think maybe one of the best outcomes here is trying to establish an additional communication mechanism both between staff and the district, whoever that ends up being, and community at the district, just so that we can gather more of that feedback without people having to come to board meetings.
I think that in the meantime, while the board is trying to put together some kind of process for gathering the information anonymously or whatever, you should just really read the questions that Jenny has laid before you today. I mean, there's 30 questions here, and she spent 60+ hours interviewing staff members, former and current, and this is a very good representation of the concerns that the teachers have. And also the parents. She did not come up with these questions herself. These were things that were told to her by staff members. So, thank God they trusted her enough, to come forth and share these things with her. But she's got a lot here to go off of. A lot of the concerns are right here in front of you. So in the meantime, when you're looking for a company to, do the virtual surveying or whatever, you can really find a lot of what you need right here in front of you, these 30 questions here. that we probably won't get to today.
It's up to you guys, how long you want to stay. Go ahead.
I'm Becky, so I teach sixth grade, and I love it. And I love the number. And I love everything, almost everything about it. There's always things you can look at, right? But I wanted to address, so Ryan mentioned how we met as a whole group staff, was intermediate and primary. And we had this great activity where we got to break off into groups, and there were big post-it notes, and we shared, and we were very open. I think for me, at least speaking, that really truly felt like the first time we could be open and honest. I can't tell you what the fear is, but there has been a fear of, well, if we say this, what's going to happen? And I think that's not really a good feeling, if I can be honest, and I don't know what the retaliation or what the outcomes would be, but that's just kind of a fear that some staff members have. So I feel like at that meeting, I looked at it as being very positive, because from intermediate and primary, we were openly able to share a lot of concerns. And I know, unfortunately, COVID hit, and we couldn't continue that. So I think what we really need to do is, okay, we need to do this, well, what are we going to do? We really need to come up with a plan. So I think instead of, well, we're going to read on I think that's great. We need some tangible things to accomplish to start working on this. So from the conversations we had, those big issues of trust and relationships and things like that, what are we going to do? We need a plan.
Right.
So I guess what can we start to think of to create?
Right, and I guess we had a Zoom meeting with all 16 or 20 SEL committee members, because ultimately that plan, we want that plan devised by that team. I mean, survey is one thing, okay, but what's the plan?
Yeah, I think we're kind of survey out.
Well, I'm hearing more. Well, that's not what I'm hearing, Becky. So, but I guess what I want to say to that is we talked about what SEL was going to look like with the kids and the adults. And you're right. And right now that team said, hey, given everything that's going on in the world of being a teacher and education and just in general, let's take our pedal off, the adult SEL side, give people time to transition, and let's pick it up again in October. That was the SEL team's decision, was, hey, let's give you the book, because there's more to it than just reading on it. Because we need to continue, because March 6th, whatever the first Wednesday was in March, was our all-district meeting that Becky was talking about. March 17th, we had another meeting scheduled, a full-day meeting scheduled. March 12th, we canceled. Haven't been back since. So I think that team needs to get back, and we will. That team will have to finish and complete the work that it was intending to do back in March, April, and May. We need to reset that again when we come back in the fall.
So what are some of the things that we can afford doing that? Like, what were some of the conversations? Because we don't really know unless we're in the community, we don't really know. So are there things that we can kind of look forward to as far as like next steps?
Well, I think we were just getting there. Again, off the top of my head, again, I'd have to go back to see what our committee team was saying and things like that too. I mean, there's a lot of committee members that are in this room. I spent a lot of time on that.
A lot of them were activities addressing our values. And what that means, what does that look like in the district? Trust, accountability, what does that look like from a relationship of staff to staff, staff to administrator, staff to principal, staff to community member, staff to parents. And it was your activity similar to what you would have done at March 6th meeting, just each month or each Wednesday was going to be a different value. The focus was going to be centered around, and that's where we were going to start.
Yeah, I think that's great. And as long as there's action with those, it's good to talk about it, but then what there's action.
The team was creating those actions.
Sure.
Right. Yep. Yep. Yep.
2021. I think that's a major thing that's happening immediately. 21 especially.
I think I have a different group. Tell me which.
I'm just about the social studies, the idea to not have a social studies teacher that everyone can pick up that section, but why the social studies, why not math, why not English, why? And because it really, to me, it makes it undervalued. And our kids all actually have arrowheads and be prepared for social studies. My daughter was very prepared.
I'm just concerned about having 4 different teachers teaching a social studies class with people that are not passionate about social studies. I had to do it 1 year, it wasn't such a great fit for me.
From a standpoint, it was a couple different things. One is we added 20 minutes into social studies. So social studies used to be 42 minutes or whatever it was, and now meets 59, 58, whatever it might be too. So there was us trying to balance out some additional content time. We also increased science time by that same amount, 20 minutes or so. So when we took a look at those priorities, one of them, and also wanted to continue to inspire curiosity by adding another elective opportunity for our kids, there also was an enrollment decision. We had a decline in enrollment. We have 25 less kids in 7th grade next year. We had to respond accordingly to 1 less staff member. That's the reason why 8th grade still contains 1 teacher teaching social studies, because there was an enrollment fluctuation. Why did we choose social studies? We know science is very technical. Mathematics and language, we have specialists for too, and that we've really been developing people. I'm not downgrading the importance of social studies. We know that our kids are, through the curricular experience and through our instructional experience, are very prepared for every subject area when they enter Arrowhead High School. It's not uncommon for teachers to teach multiple subjects in different grades. Yep, you do that. You do that.
However, what's best fit for these kids to be prepared for high school is a high school where the majority of the other districts having some of that's at least geared towards or has an interest in understanding of social studies is definitely going to be important to specialize at Arrowhead.
You're making a leap though that says the 3 people who are teaching social studies don't care about it.
Didn't say they didn't care about it, but now they have a regular content area in addition to social studies and still at the same amount of prep time to give every kid the same experience.
We're supporting them through that, but that again, it comes down to an enrollment decision, but also where did we want to spend our time? From a standpoint of it was time for us to lessen a little bit of mathematics and a little bit of literacy and give it to some other areas. Given some of the things that we were able to do, less literacy, we bought back that time in the form of an elective class that kids have to take. Mathematics, we took a look at the curriculum and said, hey, can we do this? The answer was yes, we can do this scope and sequence with the amount of pacing that we do. Algebra over 2 years, or pre-algebra and then algebra A. Our curriculum sequence was such that we were able to achieve our instructional goals given the less time in mathematics and literacy. And we pulled financial literacy, for instance, out of 8th grade mathematics as well.
And then the other question was the coaches. Historical, that we have had quite a few coaches here. And I guess from a standpoint of some parents I've talked to, could that money be used instead to give high qualified teachers with a master's or have a lot of experience, that literacy coaches or other area coaches, that money could put back into having those that don't have these classroom teachers who are expecting more students than currently. I'm trained to be a coach, I can be a coach. I'm concerned about if coaches are really following a coaching model. Coaches should not be talking about teachers to administrators. They should not have decisions made on who should be teaching what grade level, which makes it really hard to talk to a coach if they're not honest. Coaches should be there to coach teachers and not be directly reporting back what teachers say to them.
It's not evaluative. There is not an evaluation tied from what a coach tells us from an evaluation standpoint.
Coaches should not be saying this teacher needs to go here because of this.
That's fine. We do include them as part of our instructional program. They teach. There's a function of their teaching, and I understand that.
Your question. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna repeat it. So in the example of the social studies where there was major change made of some of the teachers needed to teach, was there post-op evaluation to evaluate whether or not they felt that was effective? change. In other words, whether they like the change or not, is there an assessment about, were the teachers happy about it? Were they able to accommodate what they did? And two, was there any change with the students? I'm not talking about standardized testing, but just generally.
Right, well, the 7th and 8th grade staff, as noted in the document, put a presentation together that said, hey, this is why we don't feel we should do it. And it is one of those things as a leader, as an executive, you have to make a decision, right? And we still outweighed, well, if we would have done what they wanted to do, we'd look differently right now. So we made a decision, an executive decision that said, okay, we understand we're here to support, we're going to move forward with it. We see it as a great opportunity to increase our opportunities in science and social studies, opportunity to bring curiosity through more electives, opportunities for our kids. There's enrollment that we need to continue to adjust to. But yes, we did. We had meetings and ultimately made a decision to make the change. We did. So it's a non-tested area. And ultimately, one group of students will know that something different. That's our current 8th graders, right? Because they're used to going to 45 minutes every day. And now they're going to get an hour every day of social studies, an hour every day of science, an hour every day of math, an hour every day of literacy. And it's extra elective period, so it's going to feel different. Our 7th graders don't know any different because they've always gone to teachers that teach multiple subject areas and things like that as well. So there's just one. But we feel by adding more time into some of those other areas to give it justice is really the appropriate time to do it this year.
What happens next year then as your 7th graders, where you only have 3 teachers, then go up to 8th grade? And then how's your enrollment for 6th grade then?
Our enrollment now has been steadied off. We're a 4-section school. So the following year, we will have to reduce a staff member. And that will be Mr. Bassett. He already knows that. It's on a 1-year contract. He's going to be teaching for us this upcoming year. He's fully aware that this is it. Because next year, that position gets eliminated. And because of, again, another 25 less kids, 25 to 30 less kids, which means we have to respond fiscally. And the new program we're offering really feels is still a great opportunity for kids to continue to thrive as well as our staff as well. So, but when we take a look at the enrollment throughout the district, we've got a little bubble in 5th grade, or I'm sorry, in 1st grade, where there's a 5-section school right now.
Otherwise, is every other class 4 or 3?
Everything is 4. Everything is 4. We're between 77 and 93 is what we are, 93, 94 right now. So the big bubbles are done right now. Even the 5th, even that 1st grade section, 17 times 5 is, you're still looking at 85, which eventually we'll move that into 4 sections too as well. And that's our goal is class size. That is our goal, is class size. And we're going to fight that as long as we can. When we think about instructional specialists, we don't feel that that's taken away from any educational opportunity from a child. It's a priority to develop people. It's part of our mission statement is personal growth. That's not just for kids.
Instructional coaches, whatever you want to call them, they do work with kids. Some of them teach electives. All of them do intervention. So they're not just sitting around doing it.
No, they have multiple roles.
Interaction with children, and all of them have been teachers.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have any.
Someone mentioned earlier the concept of the state interview. And I just wanted to highlight that we orchestrated that within our organization. We asked 5 questions, and 4 of them were positive, kind of why you come to work, what do you enjoy about being here. One of them was, do you ever have frustration? What can we do better? And out of those 5 questions and those state interviews we just talked to people and listened, right? And all the other stuff got uncovered. People were open and honest. They were willing to tell us they felt safe about it. And I just wanted to kind of share that experience. It was a game changer in our organization. All we did was ask 5 questions, listen to what they say, and then respond.
Your HR director was in leadership camp.
Right.
You had a question? Yeah, I just, this may be we have one of the highest enrollments in feeder schools, did I get that correctly?
Second highest.
And we have one of the lowest budgets.
We used to, the state has mandated that increase.
To be equivalent to this.
The state, we used to be at $9,200 per kid, per student. The state said by 2020, every school district will be at $10,000. So they set up incremental change periods. So for the last year it was 9,400, then 9,700. This year we're at 9,700. We don't anticipate going to 10. We anticipate being reduced back to whatever, could be 10%, could be $200, we're not quite sure. Because of COVID, correct, yeah. Because
post-COVID, we should be equivalent in terms of budget to the amount of schools.
next year, we wouldn't be equivalent, we would still be spending the minimum amount that the state requires, which we still would be one of the lowest in Waukesha County.
Why did we do that? Is that a choice?
Back in 1993. I'm telling you, 1993 was decided. And that was the last time, there's a little Wisconsin history, won't bore you. 1993, it was decided on what was going to be your spending. And ever since 1993, every school district has incrementally gone up per that decision in 1993.
Yeah. There's no.
So, and I'm not talking about, no, it's only going to get worse with what just happened. But I'm not talking,
Funding formula.
but I'm not here to talk about a fiscal issue or fiscal crisis. No, make sure that's clear. Make sure that's clear. We have limitations, and then obviously, like there's budget priorities, there's all these other things that we want to do. You know, we're looking at a remodel of the 75 section. That comes from the last 7 years saving up in facility funds. We call them Fund 41 and Fund 46, and having a healthy fund balance. If we would move forward with a remodel of 2.1 million, whatever it is, it will not affect. It will only enhance the educational program because we're looking at bringing in more opportunities for kids. It will not affect the salary. It will not affect anybody's well-being here because we're doing that, because we have these funds that we have been strategically planning for, and now it's time to spend them because we've got a wonderful opportunity. That's what I'm hoping. Thank you. Yep. You have to go to referendum. Right. We have a set catch, and other than that, you have to go to referendum because we do have them. We just can't keep spending. We just can't raise the levy because 5 people think it's a good idea. We can't. We can't. But we still are the lowest per pupil spender in Waukesha County.
You're correct. Well, Arrowhead attempts to go through 2 referendums.
We don't need to. We'll keep it. It's a good thing. We've been very fiscally sound. The last 9 years, we've been really working hard. Really happy.
We're gonna be wrapping up very quickly.
So this is kind of just looking for just a next step thing. I just want to go back to the open conversations because I think that should continue to happen. And I'm a face-to-face person. I know obviously it's been very limited because of what we've been going through. But I think really what's going to make an impact is if we keep these open conversations going. So I want to put it out there and just say, I'm speaking for myself, but would it be beneficial for school board members and Ron and Jay and teams to get together and have open conversations? I mean, would you be willing to do that? Come in and see what we do. Come in our classrooms and observe us and just see the work we do. Because Jay is amazing. He comes in and you don't even know he's there, which is great. It's very stuff. But he's amazing, and the culture that it's amazing, and it keeps us going. So for you to see that, I think would make an impact on you, to really know what happens in the class. We work our tails for these kids. And I'm sorry, I wasn't sorry. Those were all sorry. But the boundaries of what you were saying, it's one thing to say, well, you're appreciating it. But you need to see what we do and how much we care. So I just want to open it up and say that might be a great step for you guys to come and see what we do. Because we do some awesome stuff.
I've done that. I've gone to a couple of executive classes, and I've actually learned how to apply some of the grade school level stuff to my high school students, which is kind of cool. But it also, it's, for me, I'm in school teaching. But I'm not going to miss a day. Like, I want to help my students. So that's, it's, I do it when I can, but it's very far exceeded.
Or you just have a conversation, like, hey, what are you doing this week? What's the big thing that that you're going on? And, because that would connect you guys more to us instead of just a survey. Like, we're just a person on the survey.
I hope you guys know that, well, besides me, we all have students here. We love our teachers. Like, I personally love all my teachers that my kids have, and we do anything for them. And so we definitely want to support you. We want to help make it better. So hopefully we can.
Thank you. I think we just like to feel that all around. Instead of the words, we like to feel.
Believe it or not, we do all have to work because our salary. We have to live here.
There have been a number of teachers in the school who touched my life. One of them is sitting right there. It wasn't for him to strive for 55 minutes. It wasn't for him. I wouldn't have needed to accelerate And if it wasn't for teachers like that, a number of other ones who touched my life and changed my children's lives. That's why we're here. We want them all for, and they're part of our lives, they're part of our family. To Stacey's point, those questions, they are questions that have come up. You can answer them in any way you want, but just privately look at them, keep them on heart. I'm not asking you to answer every single one of them to an email or in a form like this. Please read that. That's all we have.
I'll build off Becky's idea. I think it's a great idea for you guys to come into our classrooms and observe it. That would be wonderful when you can use it on time. But I would also say to do the same kind of observation work with our administrators too, because like what we as a primary have to turn on the principal as well. And I think that if you came in to see what Becca was doing in action, or Jay, or Lori, or Ron, or John, or any of our staff, I think it's just kind of widen the scope. I think that would help you get a global picture, so that you can see the whole thing. We have a lot of great things going on besides just our teachers. Our IAs are phenomenal. I've worked in their district, and we have some of the best supports around. Our instructional coaches are great. I would encourage you to observe them as well. Just book out all your time. You're well right now. So, but I think Becky's idea is great. And I really see things for our administrators who can see that as well.
I guess I just want to say, all the teachers' perspectives, I've heard and listened to a lot. And this will be next year will be my 6th year, which will be the longest I've ever stayed in this district.
We are too.
I've heard a lot. We, as a teaching staff, have high expectations, just like you guys have high expectations for us. And I mean, I really think that we have an amazing district, and we are nitpicking right here, but for you guys to listen to this side and for our side, to listen to that side, and whatever side we're all siding, like close, we're so close. And I think a few things that we need to remember is clear and transparent, honest conversation, and I have seen amazing growth in a lot of us in this district. We need to continue to capture that momentum. I think there's been some back steps, at least in my experience. People know about those, that need to know about those. So we're close. I think we need to take that as our jumping off point, so we can build what we all want to, which is that great community school that we know and that we want to continue to build. So close.
And I just want to say, I think we work also with the PTO, which I don't want tonight to end before the staff, where I had 3 children, and I'll get to that, I have 3 children come through Merton School. And not only do I believe the staff in the school, but I don't want to leave tonight without every single parent knowing, thank you so much.
I would just like to share an experience. I've been at this a long time. The last 5 or 6 years have been the most rewarding years for me as a board member. And that's all because of the presentations that our staff members, when they bring in to do the showcase at the beginning of our school board meeting. They are just fantastic. And it's very nice to see the product that goes out the door. And I keep doing this because I enjoy it, but the enjoyment has increased in the last 5, 6 years because of that showcase piece. I spend a fair amount of time here at school, but it's not during the school day. It's early in the morning. And then I do other things, but I will try to get into classes, rearrange some time. But it is wonderful to see what our kids in this community are doing. And it's because of our staff here. We do appreciate our staff. And we'll go through these questions. We will have an opportunity to talk about it. We can, we're listening, believe us. 2 years ago when we had that meeting in July, we were listening. And we did make changes. And at that point in that meeting, I asked our staff that was there to give a little bit, because we needed to give a little bit, an inch or two, because we knew there was a trust issue. And we wanted to get that solved. And we felt what was happening was the efforts that some people were making to try to build that trust weren't taken with sincerity, because damage had been done before. And at that point, we asked, please, make an effort to give a little bit too. And I hope we can still do that, that we can work on the trust issue and work together and communicate that we need that communication. We need to hear back from you, whatever technical format that we can do it in. I know that Jim can get it to me somehow.
Dean.
I had to have my grandson get me into that. What did we call that meeting the other night? I had to have my grandson get me into it. So.
Oh, I heard the Microsoft, whatever.
It was, yeah. It would have, anyhow, so, I don't know. So, thank you all for
Dean, with all due respect, I just have to say this. We were talking about change, we were talking about 2 years ago. Here we are 2 years later, still asking for change, and I'm not sure that we're there. I don't think you need to come into our classrooms. The reason why I think that we're 6th in the state, or we think we're 6th in the state, Ron? 6. We're 6th in the state. You're more than welcome to come to our classrooms. You don't need to. We're 6th in the state.
Well,
however, the other thing I would like to address, and again, with all due respect for it, you know, Merton is in my blood, right? 32 years for crying out loud. I love it here. I loved it from day one. I'm grateful for it, the families, the students. However, we have people on the board who thinks that monkeys can teach math. So that's a really hard pill to swallow when you say, oh, we respect you, we love you, we appreciate you. how do you appreciate us if you think monkeys can do our jobs?
Remember to
And,
put everything.
I don't know, I was there at that meeting.
I was there.
And Ron, you addressed earlier that 10 people took advantage of your meetings that you offered after that. I was one of those people that came that twice,
Yep.
right? And again, I'm looking for change, and here we are 2 years later. I don't know. And Ron, you said earlier that you shouldn't leave a job because of the superintendent, right? And because the base starts right at your team. Okay, I didn't understand that teams are having problems. Our team in 5th grade is solid as a rock, and thank God we have each other. Thank God we have Jay Kosick leading this school, because he's all about relationships and connecting with people and appreciating us and telling us when we're doing a good job. You tell us, you're not a touchy-feely guy, we get that. But as a leader of the school, when you're kind of like the dad, right? Because we want to impress our parents. We want to do things and get recognized for when we do. So I think it's the elephant in the room tonight, to be honest with you. I must be in the twilight zone because I came to this meeting tonight because I thought it was about morale and culture in our school and how it was going to improve and change. But that's on me. But that is why I attended the meeting tonight, is to see change in morale and culture. And how you do that, I don't know. I'm grateful that you listened to us. On the SEL committee, by the way, all grade levels are not on that committee because I asked to be on that committee, and if I was denied, I got to pilot it. I got to do the work, but 5th grade is not represented on the SEL committee, just an FYI. So, I don't know, I'm getting off topic, but that's how I feel. And it's the morale and culture here that needs to be addressed. We'll be fine on our own, I guess, when we have our good teams and we do well in the state. But it's culture and morale that we don't get recognized and appreciated as staff, except, like Ms. Carl said, is through the PTO. We feel so much love from them, and it's not because of all their great gifts. It's just because they're a great organization and they appreciate and love us. Thank you, Mrs. Cotton. I thank you. So I'm done. I hope you heard my message. I hope it was clear. But we're 6th in the state, and that is not recognized. That should be led with at meetings, and it's not. And I'm done. Thank you.
Well, we are going to dismiss that. This meeting is adjourned.
Oh, and P.S., I hope that didn't jeopardize my job.